Welcome to Just Us Men. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about men's mental health. We're going to be sharing stories, some serious stories about our own issues and problems and how our mental health, just decreased and how we got through it, everything that we went through and how we got above it. We also have a great viewer question for you guys. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's go.
Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's time to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
Welcome to Just Us Men. Like always, we got the man Jonathan, who wears short shorts, Pedro, and I'm Jason. Guys, it's May, Mental Health Awareness Month. We talked about physical health last month and how important it is. And, this one is mental health and how we've been through life, all of us, and how it, life takes you. Life takes you in the ups and great times, and life takes you in the bad times, and sometimes those bad times gets really bad. And it pushes you into a dark hole that you never think to go out of. And, it's tough when you go through that dark hole. And it's hard when you go through that dark hole because you don't know how to get out. And sometimes that dark hole, you start having thoughts of doing things to yourself you never thought you would in a million years, And, for myself, I've been through that. And it's unfortunate. I've been through that actually several times, and I had to go through, different things to find ways to get me through that. You guys heard the story about when I was going through my VA disability, with my foot, and how the VA told me, hey, you'll never walk and run again. And I thought about taking a whole thing of pills because I was like, you know what? I can't exercise, I can't run. And like you said in that episode, that must be hard for you because you're a very active person, so you laying in bed, you can't run and walk, it sucks, So obviously, and you don't know how long till you'll be able to do that. If ever, you're going to start thinking things. You're like, well, screw it then. Why do I'm not married, I don't have kids, I'm just by myself. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? You start having those thoughts. And now that episode, I talk about how I got through it, how I was just I woke myself up. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Well, after that, years later down the road, I end up marrying someone who, was pretty much, I kind of called it Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because during dating, I saw red flags here and there, but it wasn't till when I got married, literally the night I got married, it was bad. It was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde just turned, literally the night I got married. During the honeymoon, it was a bad honeymoon. Not a honeymoon that you expect a honeymoon to be. It was bad. Ended up with me sleeping on the couch the entire time.
That's a great start to the relationship right there.
Yeah, it was. It was.
One day you'll make it to the bed.
Exactly. It's not something you think about being on your honeymoon that you're going to be, sleeping on the couch. And it was something that she just did not. She did not enjoy my company in bed. She did not enjoy my company on an intimate level. I don't know why. I mean, it was just, it was something that it blew my mind. I didn't understand. And obviously there was something going on with her, but, as a man just got married, you're making exemptions and going, okay, maybe she's tired, maybe this, maybe that, And so during that time, I was trying to, okay, let's see what's going on with her. Let's see things that we need to get fixed. She tells me, hey, I don't like sleeping in the same bed as you because you snore. No problem. And that's fine. That's a valuable point, and I do snore. It was bad. It was bad. So I go, okay, you know what? Let me go get a CPAP machine. Let me go on the VA and be like, hey, look, I snore. They put me to sleep clinic. You know what? You got chronic sleep apnea. Okay, what do I need to fix it? You got to get a CPAP machine. No problem. Whatever I got to do to fix my marriage, whatever I got to do to fix the situation, I'm down with. Is uncomfortable as hell? Hell yeah, it is. Imagine. For that first few months, it's uncomfortable.
And did it eliminate your snoring?
So it does. It eliminates your snoring. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of technology equipment, but it's uncomfortable. Like, I've had it on for now 5-6 years, and it's still trying to get used to it. You know what I mean? I've gotten used to it. I kind of know where to, like, when I'm laying in bed, where to put the piping and tubing and stuff like
I
that.
know where to put the pipe.
And you know, I mean, it's especially like when you're dating a girl,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And you have that on, and you know, like, yeah, exactly.
You ready? You ready? Yeah, let's do
No,
it.
I got strap.
Strap. Hold on, baby. Hold on. All right, you know, and now you can get on top. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's very uncomfortable, but it helped with the snoring.
Okay.
Wasn't good enough for her. Back to the couch. You know, so obviously there was something else going on with her that, you know, she was trying to make excuses for. I was trying to make exemptions for. You know, I moved to another state and tried to see and try to fix all the problems that she told me she had. Try to help that make it, you know, make the marriage work. Because, you know, in that religion I was in at that time, you don't divorce. You marry to marry, and that's it. You know
Where'd
what
you
I mean?
move?
Moved to Arizona. Yeah, moved to Arizona. And so, you know, you marry to marry. You don't divorce. And that's just part of that religion that I was in at that time. And it, you know, and some people are like, well, that's how it should be. You're right. But there's also things where you just can't stay in a marriage if this keeps going on and on and on and on, you know?
Sure.
And so she had
This might be off topic, but can you elaborate on the religion?
yeah, it was Pentecost. Yeah, it was Pentecost.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, nothing wrong with the religion. It's good for some people. But after going through everything I went through, it was just a big eye opener for me.
Is that a family religion?
You know what I mean? It was. My whole family's part of that. You know what I mean? And they're part of it. They enjoy it. Nothing
Each
wrong
his
with
own,
it.
man.
Each his own.
Sure.
Exactly. You know.
Learn something new though.
And no, yeah, you know, there's new stuff you guys don't know about me, and it's great. It's great for them, and there's nothing wrong with it for them. And you know, if you belong to that, that's fine. Myself, I learned a lot from it. Where I go, I'm going to move on from this religion. Still go to church. Still believe in God, but go into a different category. Because each his own, exactly. And so, but it was the marriage just got bad. It got so bad. It was very physically abusive. It got mentally abusive. Not from me. It was from her. And every time we fought, it was just 0 to 100 in her. And it was bad. And mentally, as a husband, you know, hearing just words constantly berating you all day long, hearing, you know, almost physical harm to you all day long, trying to almost attempt physical harm to you all day long. I'm a big guy, you know, but at the same time, when, you know, and you know this too from other previous, you know, cases in the past, when a woman attacks a man and a man tries to defend himself, the man's going to jail. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Because a man's expecting to know how to fight. So I didn't do anything. I just kind of stood back and let it happen. And I kept a journal. I kept a log of it just for my own purpose, just to make sure if something were to happen, I have something to present in court, you know, to protect myself. But it got so bad. And we were in a house. It was a 2-story house. It got so bad to the point where I had my own room. So in 2.5 years of marriage, I slept in the same bed with her probably 3 to 4 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. It was like a roommate situation.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire
Bad
time.
roommate.
It was a bad roommate situation. And, you know, there was times where I'd go to work and I didn't want to come home. I didn't want to come home from work. I'd be working purposely till 10 o'clock at night because I didn't want to come home. You know, I didn't want to deal with that. And then there would be times where she called me at work and just wanting to fight over the phone at work. It got so bad to the point where I felt trapped. You know what I mean? Obviously, that religion, you don't believe in divorce. So I just felt so trapped. I felt like I could not go anywhere. You know, I did not love my marriage. I did not like my marriage. And I tried. We went through marriage counseling. We did everything we could. I did everything I could to try to keep going because I go, okay, she's going through something. Let me see if I can fix it. This, whatever she needed, I try to, hey, what you need, and try to help and try to fix. Nothing worked. Nothing did. So coming in 2 years of marriage, my self-esteem was in the gutter.
Yeah.
My confidence was in the gutter. Everything, you know, think about, you're thinking about why does your wife doesn't want to touch you? You're thinking about why does your wife not want to be with you? You know, your looks, you're going, okay, she's not attracted to me and this and this. It was just bad. Overall, everything was just bad about the marriage. And so finally it got to the point where I don't know what happened. There was one incident where it just broke. I just broke. I went to the bedroom, my bedroom downstairs. Her bedroom was upstairs with her daughter's bedroom. Went to my bedroom and I just broke. I'm done. Mentally, I just broke. And I'm sure viewers and you guys have been through something where you've had enough of it. You've taken, you're pretty much going through hell in different various ways. And you reach to a point where you're mentally just done. You're just mentally, I'm just done. And when you're mentally done, those thoughts of suicide start coming in your head.
For sure.
Those thoughts of going, no, I just want to end it all. Like, this is the only way to escape, is to end it all. So those thoughts came in my head. So I remember laying in bed and I'm just mentally done. I'm crying. I'm just mentally done, with my marriage, with my life, just done. I couldn't keep going. So I remember my handgun was right next to me in a holster. I remember grabbing it, fully loaded, putting it to my head. Something I never thought in a million years I would do. Never thought. And I'm just crying. I'm just crying because my mind was just gone. My mind was just done. And I was just crying. I was just like,
Broken man.
broken. I was a broken man. I was a very broken man. And I remember, I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was an angel, I don't know what it was, but I remember laying there and I remember seeing this figure right in front of me on the bed. And this figure just looked at me and just like angry at me and go like angry, like what I was about to do. And he goes, "What are you doing?" Like, I remember just looking at this, I don't know what it was, and just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, just angry. And that scared the crap out of me, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That scared, I don't know what it was, but he just scared the crap out of me. And I remember putting my gun down. I remember falling on the floor on my knees and just crying, and just praying and crying. And I remember, God just like pretty much said, "Hey, don't worry. I'm going to get you out. I'm going to get you through this. I'm going to help you out with this." But I needed his help. And I needed to finally kind of open my eyes up going, okay, if a marriage is taking you into that dark place, there's no reason to keep going.
It's time to walk.
It's time to walk.
For sure.
It's time to walk. You need to be done with this. You need to be done. And so, sure enough, about 3 weeks later, I filed for divorce. The paperwork's in. And even during that entire time of the divorce process, it was still hell. Text messages, calls, harassment, all this stuff. And I'm going, in my head, it just kind of didn't make sense to me. I'm like, the divorce is going. The divorce is going through. Doing that is the least thing I'd be doing. If I was in her shoes, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry for my behavior. Let's fix it. I'm going to change." But what you're doing with those text messages and those calls is you're making me reaffirm what I'm about to do. You know what I mean? And I kept every text message. I screenshotted everything and kept everything, once again, just in case something would happen. But never again, I told myself I would never, ever put myself in that situation. Ever. You know what I mean? And when I met my wife, I told her, I was like, "Hey, this is what I've gone through. This is what I'm going through." And believe it or not, it was Eliza. We started off as friends. We talked. We just started off as friends. And, she knew everything I was going through. And she would, we'd be hanging out and she would see like someone that's not me. Like, she saw me, but she saw like this like cloud over me. You know what I mean? She knew who I was, but she was trying to reach me inside. She was like, "This is not you that I'm seeing." Like, it's not you. And I remember one day, man, it was just like an eye opener for me. And when I was going through that issue, when I was going through that divorce, we were walking around Little Italy with other people, and there was a sign, just a sign that someone wrote on chalk. I think it was like in front of a coffee store. And it said, "Know your worth."
Yeah. There you go.
And Eliza stopped me in my tracks and she goes, "Read that." I said, "Okay." She goes, No. Read it 10 more times. And I read it 10 more times and I took a picture of it. I still have.
Wow.
And it said, "Know your worth," because I didn't know my worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know who I was.
Yeah, she broke you, man.
She broke me.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until Eliza, while we were friends, when I was going through that issue, she actually helped me build my self-esteem up. She helped me build my confidence up to the point where I remember when the divorce process was done, I felt like a new man, not just being out of this marriage, but during that time, she was showing me my worth. She was showing me that you should never, ever be treated this way, ever. You know what I mean? No idea that she was going to be my future wife at the time.
Yeah.
No
Isn't
idea.
it crazy?
Yeah.
How, as big and strong as we are, right?
Yep.
A woman on one end can break you down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a woman on the other end can build you up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it just crazy the power that a woman has and day to day you don't even realize that or think that
Yeah.
until shit goes bad or
Yep.
it needs to go back good.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, not every woman's like that. Our wives are not like that. There's other women that are not like that. You know.
They're gonna be there to do one of the they're gonna bring you up and they're gonna bring you down.
Right.
I hear what you're saying.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was never up for me with her. It was always down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're not perfect, guys. You know that. We go home, we make a mistake.
You and me are perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
We go home. Yeah. We go home and, hey, babe, how come you didn't do this? Oh, man. Or, babe, you did this wrong or did this and this. Okay, my bad. All right. But our wives and, obviously mine, she knows ways to talk and say, hey, you didn't do this right. You messed up or whatever like that. Let's fix it. And then same with me. Hey, babe, you didn't do this right. You messed up. Let's fix it. Okay, we work on it. We're not perfect. We're still working on that right now. But you have to have that balance. You have to have that, hey, there's positivity. Hey, you did a good job. Like I was telling, Eliza the other day, I was like, hey, we were talking about love languages. I was like, my love language is words of affirmation. So if you're telling me, hey, you did a great job, thank you. That does a lot for me.
You did that right.
That does a lot for me. Yeah, you guys figure that out. Yeah, that does a lot for me. You could buy me every gift in the world. You could buy me, a Ferrari, Mercedes Benz, or whatever. I'll be like, oh, that's a cool car, but it doesn't really do anything for me. You know what I mean? You can, there's all these different love languages. You can tell me, hey, I'm going to go clean your house. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'll clean my own house. You know what I mean? Like, there's, I'm not.
You don't worry about it. I'm not going to clean your house.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But I'm just saying, all those love languages. I don't know if you guys read that book. It's a great book, but it's like there's all kinds of different love languages. Touch and love, and affection and words of affirmation and acts of service and gifts and all that stuff. I've learned mine. Mine is words of affirmation and touch is below it. Everything else is kind of dead last. You know what I mean? So if you take someone that has words of affirmation, you just constantly berating them without no uplifting. Oh yeah, you're just going to go downhill straight, quick. And so I really had to take myself out of that, and Eliza helped me get through that. Now, a lot of people don't have someone like that in their lives to, hey, I'm going through a hard time in life. I'm going through, the shit. I'm going through the ringer with whatever I'm going through. If it's finance and marriage, kids, my ex-wife, my ex, whatever's going on, they might not have that. But that's when other guys come in and say, hey, what's up, bro? Hey, man, I'm going through this. This is the main reason we built this podcast.
For sure.
This is the main reason. This is the main reason for this, is to kind of break that stereotype, break that stigma, and say, hey, if you're going through a situation, hey, man, I'm going to go to you, but hey, bro, let's go grab a drink. Let's go do something. Let's go shoot around a golf, go to the batting cage, something, and just talk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. You know what I mean? You're going through something. Hey, man, let's go talk. You know what I mean? You know that I'm not going to go and, hey, bro, did you hear? Jonathan did this. Jonathan said this. That guy's weak. No. And whatever we talk about is between us.
For sure.
Not even our wives know. It's between us. Because we have to build that trust. And then we don't dog on each other. We don't make fun of each other. We don't criticize each other for what we just talked about. Because we're really dealing with something. You know what I mean? We're dealing with something that mentally we don't know how to get out of. We don't know how to fix. So that's why I'm calling you for your help. You know what I mean?
It's real life.
It's real life. Exactly. But I don't know what's going on. A lot of men have this stigma, have this mentality where it's like, no, man, I'm going to deal with myself. No, man, I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. It's weak if we share these issues. We're not women. I'm glad I'm not a woman. I'm saying I'm glad I'm not. You know what I mean? Thank you, testosterone. Anyways. But I'm just saying that it's just like, at the same time, women do that. But we could do that, but it doesn't have to be feminine. It doesn't have to be weak. It can still be strong. It can still be masculine. But, you wonder about, like, you hear these guys, unfortunately taking their own lives, committing suicide. Then you hear these guys on the news. I hear, I swear to man, I think I hear like once a month or twice a month on not just local news, but world news as well, United States news. Guy kills his wife. Guy kills his family. Then kills himself. Yeah. And you're like, don't tell me, you got to tell me there's no neighbor that saw that. No neighbor that saw warning signs. No friend of his that saw him just mentally just start disintegrating. Because it's not one day you wake up and start thinking that. You don't just wake up one day in a normal, perfect mind and go, I'm going to go kill my wife and kids today. You don't think that. A normal person with a normal mindset doesn't think that, no matter what life goes through. It's when his mindset and his mental health starts disintegrating. That's when those thoughts start coming into his head. Because he's just done. Right. He's just done. How come there was no one there and seeing those warning signs and doing something about it. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we're too afraid. And man, I see you. You're in the garage all the time by yourself. Sit down, quiet, or you're doing this by the time by yourself. What's going on, man? Let's talk. What's going on? And sometimes it's just that conversation, that 10, 15, 20-minute conversation. Hey, man, I got you, man. What's going on, man? I'm just stressed, man, financially or whatever's going on.
For sure.
Let's talk, man. What's going on? And sometimes we just need an ear. Like I said before in this podcast, we just need an ear. Sometimes, hey, man, you got any help? You got any advice you can give me?
Right.
Dude, all of us are filled, all of our viewers, filled with wisdom and knowledge, filled with, just ways, experiences of things that we went through.
Yeah.
You have stuff that I haven't gone through. I've done things, same thing with you, same thing with our viewers. You guys have done stuff that we have never done before and gone through hell and gone through life that maybe we have never done it. So you have that experience to help other men going, hey, man, I see this guy struggling. I see him. Something's going on with him. Let me go try to help.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your friend or, it could be it blows my mind. In New York City, there's neighbors that are next door to other neighbors in like apartment complexes, condos, never met at all.
Never met my neighbors.
I'm sad, man.
I know.
Never met. And it's like, and then all of a sudden you hear boom. What was that?
Right.
And you call the police. I'm like, hey, man, I heard something going on. PD comes in, opens the door, shot himself.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even know the guy.
Yeah.
Man, you could have knocked your door. Hey, bro, have a little barbecue, man. I'm having this, or have a little party. You want to come over? Have some drinks, have some food. Doesn't take that much.
Right.
Doesn't take that much.
Change a man's life.
Change a man's life, but just with the conversation.
Yeah.
Change a man's life with just an invite.
Right.
Hey, man,
It's great you're the one saying that because you practice what you preach.
No doubt.
You're the epitome of doing all those things.
And it's
More
because
so than either one of us, for sure.
No doubt.
it's because people done that to me. I saw the importance. I saw how much it affected me, and I go, I want to do that to other people. You know what I mean? I want to make sure, hey, whatever we're doing, hey, you're invited. Hey, come over this. And sometimes my wife gets frustrated because she's like, how many people you invited to this party? And I'm like,
Always.
oh, man, I buy more food and more drinks. And, because it's just, I want everybody being invited. You know what I mean? I want everybody to have a good time. You know what I mean? And just get to know each other and have fun, And I mean, look at that. Coming up this week, this Saturday will be 1 year I've known you.
Yeah.
1 year. And the next month will be 1 year I've known you.
Look at that.
1 year, bro. 1 year's gone like this. And look at our friendship.
Yeah.
Look how what we built here.
Right.
And it's awesome because you guys accepted me. This guy's goofy. This guy's this guy's, but
This guy's DMing my wife.
And then at the same time though, you guys didn't judge me. You guys didn't criticize me. You guys didn't be like, hey, this is going on. We just all how we are now. You know what I mean? And the warning signs. I mean, you were telling me about a story the other day about warning signs and how people were picking up on stuff and. I just wish people paid attention to that more. They got to know and talk to other men and fix that. Here we go.
So there's I had that issue in my life. Similar story kind of to Jason. And there was warning signs and there was people that my mom actually tried to help out. And actually she set my dad down. We'll get to that in a minute. But there were warning signs, obviously. So this is something that happened to me about 15 years ago. Give and take. Somewhere around.
So around 30.
Yeah, right around your age. Exactly. So it was right around the time that there was this where Matt ended up was no longer in my house. So that hit me hard, just because I knew that was hard. But I knew that had to happen, right? Because I knew that living situation would never work. Every relationship that I had was never going to be real because you can't make that real with somebody living.
Right.
Your baby's mom living in the house, right? So around that time, I ended up I was in a relationship with someone, and it was an awful relationship, very very similar to Jason's. It was just toxic, and we were both toxic to each other, to be honest.
Yeah,
it just we didn't mesh, and we ended up splitting off, and there was sometime in there where, and it was probably before we even split off, that mentally I was no longer okay. And I knew people saw that. It's just hard not to see that.
right.
And then, so when I ended up eventually, I was pretty much just by myself. And then every other day, Matt came over, and then, I'd go to work. But at this point, I was like zombie mode.
Yeah.
I'd walk around, I'd go to work,
Yep.
and I'd come home, and it just sucked.
I mean, what are you talking about?
It was basically like all joy sucked out of my life. I mean, that's literally how it was. And this went on. It wasn't forever and a day, but it was probably
Felt like it.
yeah, it was probably about 10 months. It was under a year, I know, but it was close to a year.
Right.
And then there was a time I was like, I need help. I need to do something. This sucks, and I can't continue to live like this. It was very unhealthy. So I went to the doctor. Luckily, I didn't have the white coat syndrome thing, but
So you're willing to go.
I was willing to go. Well, and the thing about it, I don't like going to the doctor. I mean, not because I have any fear. I ain't gonna go to the doctor, right?
Right.
But at that point, I was just like, I need anybody, somebody, do something. So I was like, dude, I went over there and I was like, all right, I need antidepressant pills or something because I can't live like this. And he goes, how's your sleep? I'm like, sucks. He goes, well, let's fix that first. I was like, oh, okay. It's cool. So he gave me Ambien. You know Ambien? It's
Know the name, but not.
it's pretty potent. So like, I was probably I was lighter than I was now, like 150. So the first time I took it, like I was like, oh man, I'm getting tired. And I was like, you're stumbling even just to get up. It was that potent. So, and I ended up enjoying it. And I was just like, okay, cool. You know what? When I come home, when Matt's not there, I'm just I watch the clock to say, how early can I take it? Or how far can I make it, right? Is it 4 o'clock? Is it 5 o'clock? I had no will to do anything.
Right.
So I was just trying to sleep it off, right?
Yeah.
Just wait till the next day. And then eventually you take it long enough, and then it just it doesn't really have the same effect. So it's kind of like you're fighting Ambient. So it was kind of like not quite high, but kind of sort of. And then I was doing that for a minute, and then I was just like, okay, that's not what the point of going to the doctor, right? I mean, I'm not. This is not working.
Right.
And
It's creating another problem.
I'm creating another problem, right? And the reason why I didn't get to Jason's point was because the whole reason why I did, all that time living with his mom and trying to be with my son is because I wanted to give him something I didn't have.
So you had something to live for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Even though it was just like, I had no joy. I had nothing. I love my kid, but I didn't have any feelings. It's like life just sucked, right?
You were just in your dark hole. You don't know.
I was in my dark hole and I couldn't get out of it,
Yep.
right? And so I was just like, okay, I got to stop taking Ambien. Right? I just have to. That's not helping. Made a different kind of problem. So I started, again, I'm a Christian person. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pray. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to do anything and everything. And I tried. And nothing, right? Nothing. It felt like I was just doing the motions of everything. And then one day I ended up listening to, I know exactly where it was. It's in the Galleria Mall. And I was listening to this person, it was a Christian lady telling her story, right? And her story was rough too. So she was had a horrible life and worked her way out of it, right? But she was kind of, giving a good story and laughing about things or telling jokes. And I laughed. And when I laughed, I stopped and thought about it for a second because it was just like, that's the first time I actually laughed.
Yeah.
It was like a breakthrough. It wasn't like everything's great. It was just
Good first step.
it was a great first step. And that's where it was just like, wow. I mean, exactly why I remember exactly where I was when it happened. And I was just like, okay, there's hope. There literally is hope. I mean, I don't have to be here.
Was that like a little glimpse of who you used to be? When you left, did you feel that?
Yeah, it felt normal,
Yep.
right?
Felt normal.
It felt like I was normal. And
Yep.
it was just like, okay, cool, great. I mean, I was so excited in my head because I hadn't felt like that in such
Right.
a long time.
Right.
Still had a journey to go, don't get me wrong. But I knew there was hope.
It was still there.
It was still there. So, I continued to listen to her. And the thing about it, like, so I skipped out a part with my mom when she tried to, she tried to help. She I guess she didn't know what to do. So she called my dad, and my dad came down, and he was here for about a week. And and then he left. During the time, he actually gave me some books. And I was just like, okay, that was kind of worthless. I didn't get nothing out of it. I'm not reading the books, right? Well, on my journey up, those books helped.
Yeah.
So it was kind of strange because it was just like those books, like one of them was 5 Languages of Love,
Yeah.
and then there was other books that he gave me and other books I got. And it was learning about love, learning about myself, learning about, how to take care of other people. And it wasn't a fast journey up, but it was a journey up.
Right.
And like when I finally came out of it, I was a better person for it. I was a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I was a lot more understanding. And I can now understand people who go through that.
Yep.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh well, so you feel depressed, so so you're unhappy. No, you just freaking sucks. And you don't know what to do, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I mean, it was like
It's like quicksand. It brings you down slow, and you just don't know how to get out.
and you know how to get out.
Yep.
But I climbed myself out, man, and I seriously, I mean, again, listening to motivational, just people talking. It didn't have to be exactly, motivating me per se, but just knowing other people's stories, that that things they went through, and knowing that there was hope at the end, right?
Yep.
That they could do it, you can do it. And again, it's just like, okay, well, it's like working out or anything else. It's like, well, let me make myself stronger mentally.
Do you know what got you there?
What
got you into that position? Was it Matt leaving?
I think it was a lot of things. I think it was,
How do you prevent yourself from ever falling in that again?
because I know, no. I know who I am now. I mean, that's the thing. And so that's
because his was like a strong cause and effect.
right.
Yours is different. Yours was just life.
Mine was life. Mine was my son. Mine was the relationship. And it was just kind of like just a spiral, man. It was just kind of just going down, right? So it's not so much, that's the thing, like, the cause and effect thing. It's about where I am now mentally, understanding, because I can think back and I still know those pains.
Yep.
Yep. I will never go back there.
No.
But I know how it was.
Yep.
So it's like it's not. I won't. I am good. I am.
Yep.
That's why I am the way I am now, because of my struggles.
Yep.
And it's not the topic, but it's when raising my kids. That's that's the thing. It's like I know I don't want them to struggle. But I know the person I am is because of the struggles I went through.
Right.
And I definitely didn't want anybody to go through depression.
No.
I mean, that really sucks.
No.
But it did make me a stronger person coming up.
Yep.
So that's
amazing.
my
That's amazing. No, I'm sorry to unload all this stuff on you, brother. Like, you're like, whoa, I didn't know these things about these guys,
the thing about it, like my story, I'm gonna be honest. A handful of people actually know my story. Oh, now a lot more than that. But I mean, no one knows my story.
So I appreciate you sharing with us, both of you guys.
I appreciate it, brother.
So I was actually in some of y'all's darker parts of y'all stories. I was smiling a little bit, smirking, and it wasn't from a place of ill intent. It was more like, see who I know you as now, the happy, upbeat, involving everyone, want everyone together, the community feel, and then you just like great family, adore your family, kids, like you're outside of when things don't go right here. Very positive person, just overall, just it was just giving me, because I am a little younger, and life happens every day.
Every day.
Right. Every
day.
dog has a day. There's
Yep.
something that happens every day and just can alter your life like that.
Yep.
But to this point, I've never felt, and I hope I don't, been through those sort of situations, right?
For sure.
But it was just comforting hearing how dark your time was. Same for you. Hearing that while I'm looking at you guys today in a different light,
Right.
Sir.
it shows that when that does happen, or if that will happen, like we had mentioned, it's kind of for the season, right? You just weather the storm, you get through it.
Yep.
Because I would have never known that part about you without you sharing that, because you don't show that at all.
No.
You give no signs of that.
Nothing.
I'd have never, from the great family you guys have, Sarah, Eliza, like I'd have never thought anything
A lot of people
so
don't.
dark or deep
Yep.
prior to that.
A lot of people don't.
So it's just like those situations, they make you,
Yep.
as you said, but they don't break you.
They don't break me.
So it was just very uplifting seeing or hearing the journey from that to what I see today and what I know today. So it was very encouraging.
And you're going to have people that are watching us and hearing our stories and going, okay, I'm going through hell right now. I'm going through my dark time. I'm thinking about suicide. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I'm letting you guys know right now, you're not alone. Thousands of men are thinking the same thing like you. But at the same time, you have men that are telling you guys, your life's not worth it. Your life's not worth whatever issue or problem you're going through. Because a lot of people think that suicide ends it all. Suicide, I'm ending this problem once and for all. It's done.
It's the beginning of just trauma for your kids, your family, your wife, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that you thought you didn't have, you're creating a life of pain for them.
No
Exactly.
doubt.
Exactly. And you're actually making that problem worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, us men that, the men that are watching us and people that are watching us right now, if you guys are going through that, find help. Find help through your church. Find help through a friend. Find help through a counselor. Find help through anybody that you could think of, that you could trust, that you feel comfortable with talking to. That's what we're trying to, break that stigma where guys go and be okay to talking to other guys without feeling judged and criticized, to fix this issue, to fix these situations, to feel comfortable sharing issues and problems, and like we just did right now, help each other out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not looking at Jonathan going, man, he's this and this. And not one time I think anything negative in his head. I'm just thinking, man, he's been through the ringer.
I'm looking at both y'all as motivation, encouraging, inspiring.
And he got through it. You know what I'm saying? There's not one ounce of judgment going your way. And there shouldn't be an ounce of judgments going anybody's way that's going through life. Because everybody's gone through life. No matter how old you are, everybody's gone through life. But when life takes you and puts you in that, dark hole that you don't know how to get out of, there's ways to get out. But you need to get that help from someone else. And if a guy's seeing another guy going through that hell, going through that dark hell, hole, you need to reach out and pull him out and help him pull him out. And like Eliza did, show him his worth. Hey, man, you're going through this right now. Like you said, it's temporary. You know what I mean? Let's figure out a way to get you through this dark hole and get you back up and to be a confident, strong person that I know who you are because I've seen that before of you, and it takes our help, guys. It takes all of us. We can't do this alone. We can't. So we're going to jump into our viewer question. We have a viewer question that kind of matches tonight's episode. And it's going to be, how do you control your emotions when you're upset, sad, and angry? From Mark in Los Angeles, California. So that's a good one. I mean, how do you control your emotions when you're mad, sad, or angry? So for me, I'm still working on that every single day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Every single day I am. Because myself, like one of my pet peeves, and Eliza knows this, is being on time. And not waiting to the last. Dude, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, good.
I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Being on time is one of my pet peeves. All right.
Like you're against being on time?
Oh no, I want to be on time. I like being on time. Exactly. I know. Well, we know whose fault is that. So, but no, being on time is one of my pet peeves, as well as
Of course.
like I don't like rushing. I don't like hurrying up doing things. If I need to, I need to. But I like
This man's
You know,
all the time.
I'm telling you, but I like to take my time. I want to make sure where I'm getting at. I'm not rushing. I'm not, because I feel like if I
Definitely take
rush,
your time.
well, yeah, exactly, yeah. If I'm rushing, then I miss stuff. You know what I mean? My wife, on the other hand, not so much. And there's times where I'm late because of my fault or something going on with the baby. But and that's my pet peeve. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own thing. But I've had to learn to be patient and had to learn to just calm myself and go, okay, let me help her fix this issue. Let me help this. And I'm not perfect either. My wife's the same way when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Where she's like, hey, we need to fix this. And I'm like, okay, and we're going back and forth. You're constantly fixing issues and problems every day. I mean, you're never, and if no one tells me I'm perfect, please tell me what you're doing, because no one is, you know what I mean? But when that time comes where I'm getting upset, where I'm getting angry, okay, there's been times where, I've blown. I've just kind of like, just yelled or frustrated. And those times I did that, dude, I hated it. I was just like, whoa. This is not me. So I have to, and I feel like I've done a good job when I have had those feelings come. Take a breath, take a minute. Because one thing I learned, and even Liza told me, once you say those words, they're out there. You can't take them back.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Once you say whatever you're going to say out of anger or sadness or frustration, they're out there. Yeah. And there's been many times where I go say it, and you know how it is. The minute you say it, you're like,
should have stopped right before then.
Yeah. And you're just like, dang it. Because give it a few seconds, and that person that's hearing what you just said, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you're just like, I should have said that. And I've had to really make sure, okay, I want to say this, but I'm not going to say it. I want to act this way. I'm not going to act this way. I'm just going to calm down and just take a minute, take everything in. Okay. If I need to take a minute, go outside, go to the gym, whatever, that's where I let it go. But I've had to, like I said, I'm not perfect. I've had to learn my own lessons and how to adjust with that and going, okay, I don't want to do this again. Let me fix this. Let me fix this issue. Let me fix this problem when it came to this. Because like you said, action is everything. Your words are everything. And, that's a constant thing that you're always working on, because you just, it's a long day. You're tired. You're exhausted. And all of a sudden something does someone or something says something that makes you angry or mad. You just want to release quick. And you hear about road rage all the time. The same thing. Guy cut me off. And I just took out my gun, just started firing rounds. I heard that the other day. I'm like, what in the world? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? And it's like,
I'll be honest. Like, why do you care that much about those little things? I'm not, in general, that's
pride.
Pride. Is it pride?
Pride.
Ego and pride. And I get caught up in
okay, that makes sense.
I get caught up in that.
Yep.
You just take it personal.
Yep.
Okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care enough. And it's not that I don't care enough, because I do care about people and I care about things. But
I'll share my stories.
Okay.
One day. I have had several road rage interactions.
Oh, wow.
I believe that. I don't know why.
I have pulled a gun on it. I got out of my car and I choke slammed a guy against the curb
gosh.
on Upper Lake.
Anybody said that too?
And while a cop drove up,
Oh,
while Ariel was 8 months pregnant.
oh shit.
You got some anger.
So, road rage has got the best of me. I take it personal.
But why?
So, to answer your question, I don't know how to handle the situation.
Obviously.
I have
Captain, obviously. Come on now, tell me more. I'm listening.
I feel like I was blessed with
A big body?
I was blessed with a long fuse, right?
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, now we talk.
So it'll take a lot
man.
for me to get to that point.
Right.
So I can let so much go by the wayside and not care, right?
Okay.
So that is, I guess, how I can handle it because I'm just able to let so much go.
Right.
But the other end of that is when I get to that point where I can no longer let it go, then it's just up from there. There's no turning back at that point.
Wow.
So have you done anything to like keep that in check? I mean, like, you know, to kind of fix that issue
I
to
don't have that problem at home
okay.
because it's my wife and my daughter's never done anything to get me. She's 3 years old.
Right.
My wife, of course, she can poke me, right?
All wives could do.
But I mean, I feel like it's good enough. Maybe slam a door, you proved your point, right? Like leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, or just my therapeutic approach to those situations is get in my truck, turn music on as loud as it'll go, and just ride around
Take a minute.
for a couple hours, right? Then come back. Either she's asleep, we'll talk it out tonight, we'll talk it out tomorrow.
Right.
That's there. But outside of that, if I get to that point, like, I don't know you nothing, but.
Who's the viewer? What was his name?
Is it Mark in Los Angeles, California?
Mark, don't listen. Don't listen to these guys. They're a bunch of nuts. That's not how you handle situations.
And I don't even take testosterone.
So I mean, I'm okay. So I'm totally opposite because I mean, I don't. We don't like at home. We don't fight.
Yeah.
Well, we just don't fight. I mean, one, she doesn't poke. She doesn't do anything.
Mm.
If anything, she'll get quiet. So. I mean, so
You're a rare Latino.
no doubt. No, but I mean, even still, though, I mean, because again, I think a lot. You know, when so if something happens, there's a lot going through my mind.
Right.
Okay, is this me? Am I the problem? Is she the problem? Is whatever the issue, whatever it is, and I go through these things really, really quick. Like when I'm thinking about it, it's like, nope, it's me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm bad. Oh, hold on, let me take that back. That's my fault. If it's her fault, it's not that big of a deal anyway, right? So it's working and talking and obviously trying to keep everything calm. I mean, that's mainly. A lot of things don't really freaking matter.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things,
Right.
It's like if somebody said something, whatever, it's okay, whatever. I don't really care. Pride, I have my pride. I mean, there's obviously certain things that I'll allow happen, but I mean, for the most part, I don't freaking care. You can say what you want, think what you want. You can cut me off. I'm in traffic all the freaking time. I have 20-something years. I've been driving, everywhere in Houston, always in traffic. Seen it all. I don't care.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy. I guess you want to go. Obviously, I mean, I've had people bump me, and it's just like, no, go ahead.
Right.
I mean, if anything, you might have scratched me. I had somebody hit me in the back, and I'm like, "Are you okay?"
You like those sort of things. That's why you don't get upset.
Yeah, that's why I don't get upset. But I mean, it's just I mean, who freaking cares?
Yeah.
Okay, you scratched my paint, you did whatever, or obviously you cut me off and do whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, and again, like, so that's the anger part, as far as like, what else did he have? He had sad.
So when you're done, I'm going to share you with sadness. I just found some news today that you guys don't know about yet. So
Okay.
sad, anger, mad, and sad.
Okay. And then sad. So, okay. So
I didn't even remember the sad part. I got caught.
anger, mad is the same thing. That's why I
Same
double
thing.
dose it.
Right.
You heard both of those and sad off. I mean, and sad, and the thing about it is how you want to look at it. Whatever the situation may be, right? I mean, if you focus on the sadness, what makes that better?
Yeah.
Whatever that situation is,
Right.
focusing on that does nothing.
Right.
Focus on a resolution. Focus on what's going to come. Because if we go back to my situation and what I was dealing with, if all I did was focus on being sad, or I don't know what that was, sad or miserable, whatever, I would have never got out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yep.
you want to remain in that headspace, then focus on being sad.
Exactly.
If you want to work past it, it's just like, okay, what do I need to do? What's the solution? What's going to make this better? You know, is it me? Is it you? Do I need to get out of this relationship or this situation? You just work on making, you know, whatever better. It sucks being sad, and it's expected. You know, you're gonna feel it, but don't focus on it.
Yep.
Try to move forward, keep going. That's
So, like what you just said, today Sarah had a ear check at Texas Children's Hospital. Amazing doctors and nurses there. We love them. Very thankful to be there. But, you know, she goes in the booth with mom. I'm outside. They put the headphones on her and they do the little hearing check. Now, I've done thousands of hearing checks, you know, in the military. And you push a button, can hear, all that. With kids, though, they have like a little picture on the thing. And it's like, point to the rainbow, point to the popcorn, you know, and Sarah's there. And I'm watching through the window. She's there. And then she starts lowering the decimals, you know, plays with it. So she gets done, walks away. She says, I'm going to be right back. She walks away. She's gone for about 5 to 10 minutes. I've been to enough medical appointments with my daughter that when the doctor has to walk away, it's gone for a little bit. Something's not good. Yeah. So she comes back and she says, okay. Sarah's left ear hearing, amazing. She could hear great. Cool. Her right ear, moderate to severe hearing loss.
Oh wow.
And there might be a good chance she might have to have a hearing aid.
Okay.
And hearing that, you're just like,
That sucks.
kind of confuses you because you're just like, wait a minute, when she hears me though. You know what I mean? Because it did confuse me for a minute because I'm like, I could call her name from the house, Sarah, Sarah. She
Well,
comes,
she has one good ear.
she hears me, you know what I mean? And there's been many times where she's sitting on my lap and, you know, she's like, hey, baby, and I'm hearing it. And she's talking like, so, you know, I didn't think that maybe it was that bad. You know what I mean? We had always a weird feeling years ago after everything that's going through her, but we didn't think it was that bad. So
you thought she had some?
we thought we had a feeling she might have some sort of hearing loss because when she was born, this ear was a little kind of odd
Okay.
than this one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it doesn't look like that now, but it just, and then every time we go in for hearing checks, they go, her right ear is a little bit smaller than her left, you know what I mean? Things like that. So, you know, we kind of knew, but we didn't realize how bad it was. This was the first hearing test that she was old enough to understand the commands and old enough to do a successful hearing test. So they tell us this, and we're like, okay, you know. So we went from that appointment to another appointment that's 30 minutes down the road to check her. She has ear tubes and stuff like that. So my wife, I put her beside her in the car. My wife goes and takes a walk for a minute. And I know what's going through her head. And I'm there playing with Sarah, trying to keep her happy. She has no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? And as a father, you're just like, you just heard some sad news that your 3-year-old might have to have hearing aid. Something that you're like, man, this girl's already been through enough, man. Like, come on, give her a break. You know what I mean? Like, give her a break. She's been through enough. But like you were talking about, how do you control sadness? Obviously, I can't show that with my daughter.
Right.
I can't be weeping and crying and showing that in front of her. And she's going to be like, Daddy, what's wrong? I can't do that to her. You know what I mean? I'm going to let my wife have a minute. You know what I mean? And I give her a hug. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Because in my head, I'm going, okay. Throughout Sarah's journey in her life, in the last 3 years, we've been hit with one bump after another bump after another bump. You know, when she was in the hospital, she would have, after heart surgery, her lung collapsed. Lung went back up. Then her right lung collapsed. Then her right lung. So it was like
Tough little girl.
Yeah,
one after another, man. She's been through hell and back. So it's like you're not really prepared, but you're kind of like, okay, here's something else. Here's something else. How we're gonna get through this. How we're gonna get through this. You know what I mean? I as much as you want to just yell and scream and cry, for me, as much as I wanted to do that today, I go, okay, how are we gonna get through this? Okay. We have another hearing test the next few weeks. We're gonna see how she does. Obviously, if it's the same result that we ended up today, we know how to fix it. All right. Is it going to bother her? Is it going to hurt her? Yeah, it might take some time to adjust and get used to. But guess what? We're going to get through it.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to get through it.
I'm not going to stop her.
It's not going to stop her. Are you kidding me? That actually might increase her speech. It might increase so
That's
much
something
things that we've been
Right. Exactly.
struggling with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, now, and so it's like in my head, I go, okay, am I going to get worked up as much as I wanted to? Yeah. I just kept going, okay, we have a problem. What's the solution?
There you go.
What's the solution? How can we fix this? Does it suck going through something hard again like this? Yeah, it does. But, and a lot of people don't like this, but I do it. I go, it can't be worse. In my head, I always think that. I'm like, it can't be worse. And some people don't like hearing that, and that's okay. But my mind goes to that.
Me as well.
Immediately, right when something bad happens, I go, okay, it could be worse. And even people that are going through some worse times are like, well, I'm going through some worse times.
Somebody has it worse.
Someone has it worse.
Agree.
Someone has it worse. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying to talk
It doesn't
bad.
minimize the
Doesn't
situation.
minimize the situation, but it's like, if they went through this, how can I go through it? If someone went through something worse than they went through and they succeeded or they went through it, how can I go through my struggle that I'm going through? And so, but I look at Sarah and I'm like, man, you're doing amazing. I just keep thinking about the positives of how she's doing and the positives of how she's grown in the last 3 years and what she does and all the fun things she says and does now. It just cracks me the heck up. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, we're going to get through it.
Sure.
And I think that's what happens when life hits me now, after going through what I just shared with you guys today. I go, okay, we have this issue, we have this problem. I'm going to get through this because I went through hell already once. I went through the darkest time in my life, not just with my ex-wife, but with my daughter, Sarah, being in the hospital, seeing your daughter in a little box with tubes and straps and cords everywhere. That's a dark place for a father.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And for a mother.
For sure.
And the mothers, my wife expressed it more. Me, I just kind of kept everything in, and it wasn't until I got home from the hospital, then that's when I kind of broke. But I'm going, okay, I went through several dark times in life. How did I get through it? Let me fix it. There's been times, guys, where I've had pennies in my bank account,
Pedro doesn't know.
Yeah. Pennies in my bank account, but how did I get through it? How can I eat? How can I do this? And this was years ago. And I was able to get through it. You know what I mean? And you learn those lessons, not to have pennies in your bank account anymore. You go from there. But you learn from your past. And I think that's the biggest thing that I do is I learn from my past. I go, okay, I've been through this. Okay. Oh, got this, big brick that just hit me today. Okay, how can I get through this? How can I stay positive and get through this? You know what I mean? And that's my mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of people have different mindsets on that, but that's my mindset.
Sure.
But Mark from Los Angeles, hopefully we answered your question.
Sorry, dude.
I hope we did. If we didn't, we apologize, but I'm hoping we did. And
it's more of a vent than an answer.
Yeah, sorry, man.
But I appreciate you guys. Like always, we got my man Jonathan, the man Pedro, and I'm Jason. See you guys next week. Thank you.